House Leader, third party.
All right then. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Imagine how a community feels when a government issues a permit for a contaminated landfill within its drinking watershed, nestled between two bodies of water, one of which is connected to the town's drinking water. Unfortunately, this tale is actually becoming too familiar. First Shawnigan Lake and now Campbell River, and both have many of the same elements: fractured bedrock, dueling experts, and a community group raising red flags. As was the case in Shawnigan Lake, experts hired by the community paint a very different and much less rosy picture of the potential threats posed to drinking water from a quarry turned into a landfill that will be allowed to accept demolition waste, construction waste, land clearing waste, and contaminated soil. My questions for you, Honourable Speaker, is for the Minister of Environment. Given that this site is within Campbell River's drinking watershed, and given its proximity to McIver Lake, what additional precautions have been taken to ensure that there is no risk whatsoever to the town's water supply?
Minister of the Environment and Climate Change Strategy.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the Leader of the Third Party for the question. I also want to acknowledge... Sorry, the House Leader. I correct myself, the House Leader of the Third Party. Perhaps I should just stick to the honourable member. Thank you to the House Leader of the Third Party for the question. I also want to acknowledge the member's countless hours over many years advocating for safe community watersheds. It's important, and she has done a good job, and she continues to stand up for clean, safe drinking water. I know, and she knows, that there is virtually nothing more important to communities and individuals than to be assured that their drinking water supply is safe. And I know, Honourable Speaker, and I know, Member, that people in the region have a lot of questions and concerns about the operational certificate. I have met with them. I have met with the Campbell River Environmental Committee. Staff in the ministry have met with them many times, but I would remind the member and every member of this House that ultimately this is a decision that is made by a statutory decision maker. There have been a number of technical reviews that went into the operational certificate notice, but we're now in a public comment period, a 30-day public comment period, and we want to make sure that everyone in the region, elected officials, citizens, and organized groups have a chance to make their voices heard, to put evidence before the decision maker again about any science that they have or any concerns they have about the conditions in the certificate to protect water. I urge people to use that 30-day period. I assure everyone that those comments will be taken into consideration.
House Leader, third party, on a supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I appreciate the comments of the Minister. However, there already is evidence that is in conflict that has been presented. So let's look at some of the conflicting reports. The landfill criteria for municipal solid waste states that the landfill base shall be a minimum of 1.5 metres above groundwater at all times. The proponents QP, GHD, have given the green light, but according to Waterline Hydrology Review, quote, insufficient water level data has been collected by GHD to demonstrate that groundwater levels will remain 1.5 metres below the base of the landfill. In fact, groundwater levels measured April 6, 2017 and September 2015 likely do not meet the environment landfill criteria. Waterline Hydrogeology was hired by the City of Campbell River, and their review raises many more worrying issues about this landfill. Not just a lack of data, but concerns about potential contaminant pathway to McIver Lake, and concerns that GHD has, quote, repeatedly mischaracterized the hydrogeology of the site. My question through you, Honourable Speaker, is for the Minister of Environment. Given the parallels with what happened in Shawnigan Lake and the lengthy and costly legal battles that have ensued, And given that this permit is likely creating the same conflict between the Ministry of Environment and Campbell River, wouldn't a precautionary approach that takes into account all of the relevant evidence be prudent?
Minister of the Environment and Climate Change Strategy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you again to the member for the question. I think the member knows, and I certainly hope every member of this House and the public knows, that our government believes that it is every British Columbian's right to have clean, safe drinking water. And I know ministry staff are aware of our government's view, both because it's been communicated and because of a number of measures that we've taken, whether it is dealing with agricultural waste in shallow aquifers, or dealing with organic matter disposal, or a new Environmental Assessment Act, that we take this matter very seriously. Again, Mr. Speaker, it is not my job to hear evidence. It's the job of the statutory decision maker. In the public comment period, which extends to April 27th, there is an opportunity again for people to come forward with evidence, with their concerns, with concerns that what was put before the statutory decision maker was not given due consideration. Technical reviews have been completed, but I can assure the member the final decision has not been made. When it is made, it will take all the new evidence into account.